think of Sri Ramakrishna and pray for the well-being of the whole humanity. Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Stapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Stapakaya Cha Dharmasya Sarvadharma Swarupine Avatara Varishtaya Ramakrishna Te Namah. Asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityor ma mritangamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been studying the topic, the challenge of karma. As soon as we are born in this world, we start our karma. Having the senses shows that you have to work, you will work. That is the fact. The senses are constantly working. Mind is constantly working. To give an example, how the nose is constantly inhaling and exhaling the air. It is karma. How the ears keep on hearing varieties of sounds. All sorts of things, good and bad, everything is heard by the ear. Constantly you are hearing something. Some noise, some music, anyway, whatever it is. But you always keep on hearing through the ears. That's an activity. You are seeing through the eyes all the time. Even in the dream state, you open your eyes in the dream and you enjoy the things. So eyes are constantly active. Mind is constantly active. Tongue is constantly active. Every organ is constantly active. How can you say you can be without action? So you are caught in the wheel of karma. If you know how to do it properly, you can get out of this clutch of the karma which is binding you. In order to get release from the karma, you have to engage yourself in karma. That means you have to encounter karma by karma itself. That's it. It looks paradoxical, but you have to counteract your actions in such a way that these actions do not bind you. On the other hand, you are working your way to get release from the chain of action and reaction, which causes continuous births and deaths. So, we have been talking about this subject. The first way to encounter karma is through detachment. Keep working, but without your personal likes and dislikes. Once you bring in likes and dislikes, then the karma works in a different way. It binds you more and more, and you have to reap the result of the action, whatever you have done. The second way is do the karma having faith in God. If you bring in God into your thinking system, into your working technique, then you will see in what miraculous way you escape this bondage, you get out of this cage, you get out of this samsara, and you get liberation. Sri Ramakrishna said, one must have some kind of faith before he undertakes a work. Faith is very essential. If your work starts with the faith, you will have very good result. So he feels joy when he thinks of it. Only then does he set about performing work. The basis of his performing work is faith in God. That means you must build up that faith. You must cultivate faith. In order to do that, you have to format yourself. That means you must have well-cultivated character, on which subject I am speaking in continuation of this topic. There is a doctor talking to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, look here, if a person truly believes that God alone does everything, that means God is the operator and man only the machine, then such a person is verily liberated in life. What we call Jivan Mukti in Vedanta. One attains that state of Jivan Mukti if he thinks that he is only machine, God is the operator. He is the one who is acting through me, through this body, through these senses. I am nothing. That means you are totally free from the ego. That means you are free from likes and dislikes, which are constantly causing friction in your system. So if you have to live a life of spirituality, you have to be beyond likes and dislikes. At least you must try, well, why I am suffering? Why I am not able to handle the situation? What's wrong? You have to probe sincerely. You have to probe very sincerely. Then you will find the cause of all the problems is likes and dislikes. They pull you constantly. They agitate you. So whatever things that are likable to you, you feel elated. And whatever things are there not liked by you, you get hatred. That means your mind is just tainted by this raga dvesha. So, in order to be spiritual, you have to be free from likes and dislikes. So, a person who has totally surrendered himself to the divine power, who has tremendous faith in God, he prays, O Lord, thou workest thine own work, men only call it theirs. Do you know what it is like? Sri Ramakrishna says, Vedanta philosophy gives an illustration. Suppose you are cooking rice in a pot with potato, eggplant, and all other vegetables. After a while you see the potatoes, the eggplant, rice, all of them begin to jump about in the pot. You can see how they are dancing there. They seem to say with pride, we are moving, we are jumping. Suppose the power of expression is given to them, they definitely say, we are jumping, we are dancing. The children see it and think that the potatoes, eggplant and rice are alive, and so they jump that way. But the elders who know explain to the children that vegetables, the rice, they are not alive. They jump not of themselves, but because of the fire under the pot. So if you remove the burning wood from hearth, they will move no more. Likewise, the pride of a person that he is a doer springs from ignorance. Men are powerful because of the power of God. All becomes quiet when that burning wood is taken away. The puppets dance well on the stages when pulled by a wire, but they can't move when the wire snaps. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. How true it is if you understand them. How true it is if you practice them in your life. But we forget. We forget that we are here for spiritual practice. And we become worse than the people in the world. Because people in the world, it is very definite they behave that way. But if you are taking spiritual ideal and if you are living the life, you should not behave in a way how the worldly people behave. That means you must be rooted very firmly in the faith of God. Just do your work with full faith in God, with full devotion, without a trace of ego. Then you will see how God plays through you and how things would go. How the ignorance would be destroyed. How you will be endowed with knowledge and devotion. How you will be taken to the abode of peace and bliss. Lord Krishna has said in the Gita that it is God who is really the supreme operator of things. All the activities going on in this universe gain their power from God. In your little life, if you can think that all you are doing through your body, your mind, your ego are really coming from God, your karma becomes a spiritual practice. But that attitude is very important. You can hire a person to vacuum this chapel. As a devotee also you can vacuum. Both of them are working. Since the attitude is different, the results are different. A devotee who vacuums the chapel gets spiritual benefit. The hired man who vacuums the chapel gets worldly benefit. It's very simple. So why I am telling is, your spiritual attitude must be kept intact. The moment you forget it, you are damaging yourself. If you are a painter, if you are an artist, you have been able to produce a wonderful painting. You as a man of God will remember that it is by God's power that this wonderful work has been done. Whatever a faithful devotee of God does, he says by God's grace he did this. And the result also come by his grace. In this way, he neutralizes the bondage of karma. If you place your ego in the place of God, then you are directly facing, encountering karma. That means you are pulled and pushed again and again between likes and dislikes. You are constantly under the friction, constantly you are under the state of restlessness. That means constantly you will be suffering, though you are smiling outwardly. So a devotee should know how to neutralize the bondage of karma. At the same time, he is careful not to create unnecessary desires, because he knows that this world is not his permanent home. It's only on the way of his journey to God. If he can grow in this identification with his spiritual nature as a spark of the divine, a child of God, his identity with his little individuality will slowly vanish, and his journey towards God will end by sharing the nature of God. He will be no longer bound by karma. Lord Krishna says in the Gita, Tameva sharanam gaccha sarva bhavena bharata tat prasadat param shantim sthanam prapsyasi shashvatam. That means, Lord says, why are you suffering unnecessarily? You want to suffer, so you are suffering. But there is a way to get out of this suffering. And Sri Krishna is showing the way. Take refuge in God alone, wholeheartedly. Then you will see by His grace, you will gain supreme peace and the everlasting abode. These are the words of Lord Krishna. The meaning of what the verse I quoted just now. So, the first way is challenging the karma through detachment. The second way is to encounter karma by having faith in God. Faith in God is your powerful weapon to encounter karma. There's another way that is of knowledge. The way of a person who has been more conscious of his own nature as the ever-free pure spirit. Shankaracharya has composed most beautiful verses on the true nature of one's own being. Who are you? You are that immortal self. How is it? It is Nitya Shuddha Buddha Mukta Chidananda Rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am eternally pure, eternally free. So these ideas are given by Shankaracharya so that you have to dwell upon it. You must know what it is and then you must concentrate on those ideas. Simply telling, oh, I am in the dark, what can I do? I have to suffer, there is nothing. Then you have to die in suffering only. Bring the light. Show your action in bringing the light. Darkness will go. In the same way, feed the mind with the ideas of knowledge and you will see the glory of knowledge. Really you are free, really you are not bound. It's all simply illusory. Man's self is not really a fraction of the infinite spirit. Because the infinite spirit cannot be fractioned, it cannot be fragmented. So, it follows, everyone's true self is infinite and as such is eternally unattached. You are the eternal witness. You might have taken lots of bodies previous to this present body. You might have been born as a lion, as an elephant. You might have been born as a plant, as a tree. Now you are taking birth as a human being, as man, as woman, etc. But you exist always. The forms keep coming and going, but you exist. You are the eternal witness. Therefore, a man of knowledge tries to feel that really he is the witness. He tries by contemplation to separate his actions, his senses, and the instruments of his actions from his true nature. His perspective is that all of the activities in nature do not really affect him because he is the Atman. To be sure, he sees, he eats, he dances, he does these things, but all the time he feels it is a show going on to which he is the eternal witness. Here there is no question of God or offering the fruits of action to God. Here he encounters karma by separating himself from Prakriti, that is nature, through knowledge, through inquiry. Not this, not this, not this, through analysis. The way of knowledge also neutralizes karma. He has separated himself from karma by witnessing it. Whatever method we follow to encounter karma spiritually, we must feel a love for our goal, or there will not be much intensity in our spiritual practices. That means love of God, love of our goal is important. If you don't have that, you won't have intensity in your spiritual practices. You do little bit. That's all. But the result also you will have little bit only. Unless you do practices in a proper way, you won't get the results. Simply because you are trying to do little bit of spiritual practice. You have to do practices wholeheartedly, willingly, lovingly. We are pilgrims to God, and our journey ends only when we reach Him. Just as a river emerging from some distant spring ends its journey only when it meets the ocean. If this spiritual perspective is strong, our life pattern will become different. A natural detachment, a natural indrawness will be noticed. The play of ignorance, such as our false pride, our cruelty, our jealousy, our intolerance, our untruthfulness, our pettiness, these are all the offsprings of ignorance. They will all run away. Then you are free. You feel, I am really free. So these pettiness and other things which I just mentioned, they will be ashamed to show their face because our goal is God, who is all peace, all light, all free, immortal. For the man who sustains this ultimate purpose of life, karma loosens its bonds and allows him to achieve that which our true nature has been seeking, totality. The totality of existence, consciousness and joy is in God from the standpoint of devotion and in our true self from the viewpoint of knowledge. Swami Vivekananda has spoken excellent in his lectures on Karma Yoga. If you have not read, please read that book. It's available separately. There, Swami Vivekananda says, all the actions that we see in the world, all the movements in human society, all the works that we have around us are simply the display of thought, the manifestation of the will of man. Machines are instruments, cities, ships, or men of war, all these are simply the manifestation of the will of man. And this will is caused by character And character is manufactured by karma. You can't escape karma. As karma, so is the manifestation of the will. Now I am taking the subject character. If you are well formatted in your character, you can encounter any karma. You are not afraid of it. Character is an ambiguous term which has been used by scholars and writers in a variety of senses. It has a wide range of meanings. For example, in literature, character is used to denote a particular personality. In case of biologists, they use it to mean the peculiar feature of a certain organism, as for instance in a phrase like inherited character. Character is generally used as a synonymous to personality. In this sense also, it signifies some special characteristics of a man or woman. But this is not the complete meaning of the term character. Although character includes the psychosomatic part of human personality, it means something more than it. Character is a higher and deeper aspect of human being. It doesn't mean only the manifestation of psychophysical function, but also involves the ethical and spiritual aspects of man. One scholar has said, instead of defining character as a volitional aspect of personality, it is sounder to admit frankly that it is an ethical concept. Another scholar says, character is a moral estimate of the individual, an evaluation. So like that, character has got varieties of meanings, significance. Character is an integral whole, which is the result of so many factors of human life, past and present. Swami Vivekananda takes it to mean the aggregate of a man's past tendencies. Swamiji says, as pleasure and pain pass before his soul, they have upon it different pictures, and the result of these combined impressions is what is called man's character. If you take the character of any man, it really is but the aggregate of tendencies, the sum total of the bent of his mind. This is the quotation from Swami Vivekananda. Thus we see that character is a complex organization, an aggregated whole resulting from the physical, mental, moral and spiritual actions of an individual. Therefore, we can say that in essence, character is the integration of personality and the way the inherent divinity of the soul is manifested in day-to-day life. It reaches its culmination when one fully realizes his divinity and becomes freed from all bondage. So the next step is how the character is built. Of course, before going to that point, I will try to tell something more of this character. showing how we have that tremendous power in us. Each one is a powerhouse. But you are not tapping the power. You have to put on the switch to have the light. If you don't put on the switch, power will be there. It does manifest. Same way. You must tap that power. That means we have the power within us to remake ourselves. Remaking. Don't get despaired. Oh, I have been like this. I have been foolish. I have been hopeless. I am wretched. I am condemned. I am sinner. This kind of wailing or this kind of simply condemning will not solve the problem. Do you want to solve the problem? If you want to solve the problem, you must have self-confidence. The holy people are telling you have that power to remake yourself. You can reshape your doing the things. There lies your heroism. There lies your firm determination. There lies your sincere effort. So the proper application of the power towards higher end produces character. So character is a process of reorganization of our whole being. It is not the product of an automatic, natural, evolutionary process like the instinct or the physical characteristic of an organism. Character is something which is built by a process of conscious organization of our whole being towards a different higher end. When a person consciously strives to attain certain high moral and spiritual qualities, refrains from immoral and unspiritual activities, and tries to integrate his personality, then only will character be built. Volition is an important factor in building character. Conscious and willful effort towards reorganization of personality and attainment of the highest end of human life is unavoidable aspect of the character building process. We shall continue the topic next Tuesday. Tomorrow I am going to Seattle to attend annual celebration of the Vedanta Society in Seattle. Coming back on Monday, giving a talk on the gospel on Tuesday. Thank you very, very, very much. All right. Page 608. 609. Names and forms are nothing but the manifestations of the power of Prakriti. Sita said to Hanuman, "My child, in one form I am Sita, in another form I am Rama. In one form I am Indra, in another form I am Indrani. In one form I am Brahma, in another Brahmani. In one form I am Rudra, in another Rudrani. Whatever names and forms you see are nothing but the manifestations of the power of Chit Shakti. Everything is the power of Chit Shakti, even meditation and he who meditates. As long as I feel that I am meditating, I am within the jurisdiction of Prakriti. To Master Maharishi, Ramakrishna said, try to assimilate what I have said. One should hear what the Vedas and the Puranas say and carry it out in life. To the Pandit, Sri Ramakrishna said, it is good to live in the company of holy men now and then. The disease of worldliness has become chronic in man. It is mitigated to a great extent in holy company. I and mine, that is ignorance. True knowledge makes one feel, oh God, you alone do everything. You alone are my own. And to you alone belong houses, buildings, family, relatives, friends, the whole world. All is yours. But ignorance makes one feel, I am doing everything. I am the doer. House, buildings, family, children, friends and property are all mine. Once a teacher was explaining all this to a disciple. He said, God alone and no one else is your own. The disciple said, but Reverend Sir, my mother, my wife and my other relatives take very good care of me. They see nothing but darkness when I am not present. How much they love me. The teacher said, there you are mistaken. I shall show you presently that no body is your own. Take these few pills with you when you go home. Swallow them and lie down in bed. People will think you are dead, but you will remain conscious of the outside world and will see and hear everything. Then I shall visit your home. The disciple followed the instructions. He swallowed the pills and lay as if unconscious in his bed. His mother, wife and other relatives began to cry. Just then the teacher came in the guise of a physician, and asked the cause of their grief. When they had told him everything, he said to them, here is a medicine for him. It will bring him back to life. But I must tell you one thing. This medicine must first be taken by one of his relatives and then given to him. But the relative who takes it first will die. I see his mother, his wife and others here. Certainly one of you will volunteer to take the medicine in order to save him. Then the young man will come back to life. The disciple was hearing all these things. First the physician called his mother, who was weeping and rolling on the ground in grief. Oh, my only son is gone, like that. He was shouting, beating her breast. The physician said to her, well, mother, you don't need to weep anymore. Take this medicine and your son will come to life, but you will die. The mother took the medicine in her hand and began to think. After much reflection, she said to the physician with tears in her eyes, well, my child, I have a few more children. She is telling, I have to think about them too. I am wondering what will happen to them if I die. Who will feed them and look after them? Who will feed them? The physician next called the wife of the man and handed the medicine to her. She had been weeping bitterly too. She was also weeping. With the medicine in her hand, she also began to reflect. She had heard that she would die from the effect of the medicine. At last, with tears in her eyes, she said, well, what can be done? He has met his fate. If I die, what will happen to my young children? She had children born of this man. Who will keep them alive? How can I take the medicine? In the meantime, the disciple had got over the effect of the pills. He was now convinced that no body was really his own. He jumped out of bed and left the place with his teacher. The Guru said to him, There is only one whom you may call your own, and that is God. We shall stop here. Very nice stories. Any questions? Do you have any question to ask? That means you know the technique of doing the work. That's good. Anybody? Do you have? No? Of course, the ideas which I have heard in today's class, you can reflect on those ideas. Think deeply. See, these for thinking and doing. What does spiritual practice mean? What do you mean by spiritual practice? To assimilate what you have thought and to translate them into action. Transform your activities into spiritual activities. Have a spiritual attitude, all the work will become spiritualized. Truth is that. Whether it is difficult to follow, that's a different question. That is a naked truth, I should say. Naked truth. Unclothed truth as it is. Otherwise you have to be always worrying and dying and weeping and beating your best, etc. We shall stop. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name streamed down in moonlight on the lotus heart, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drowned deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name that bath for very souls. Various are thy names, O Lord, in each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass. Be patient and forbearing like a tree. Take no honor to thyself, give honor to all. Chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the toys of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy, consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul asunder. O thou who stealest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous reign tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For he being blessed, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.